find something that really does represent scientific psychology and it's somewhere else, or it's a little more than 2 years ago, ask me about it. Send me the abstract and the citation and ask me about it, and we'll see. The reason for the specification of journals is that I find that when people get outside of these clearly psychological journals, they tend to get off into things that are either really, really biological or they're sociology or social work. And so some of these are like really good articles, but it's not psych and aging. And I like for people to actually get a sense while they're in this class of what psych and aging is. And then you can decide what you want to do about that after the class is over. But I do want to call your attention to the journals of gerontology thing can be just slightly tricky in the sense that the journals of gerontology are actually sort of 4 separate journals that are published in 2 different journal formats. I don't know exactly what you'd call it. There's like 2 different, like magazines, each of which has 2 sections. So one is biological and medical sciences. The other one is psychological sciences and social sciences. And you want to be sure you're in the right section and the right journal. One really easy way to do this is, we can look at the title of the citation, but also the page numbers have P before them if you're in the psych section and S if you're in the social science section, and so on and so forth. Okay. If you're in either of those journals and you're in the last 2 years, you're okay. I think the class presentation idea has died unless a lot of you all want to make a really impassioned plea for it. How many of you have expressed an opinion on Blackboard discussion so far about the whole papers versus exam things? Okay, so some of you have already spoken. The only consensus that I perceive developing is that almost everybody seems to hate the idea of class presentations. And I have to say, I almost pulled it unilaterally myself, but then I decided I'd rather talk with you guys about it first, because it's a little hard to imagine how we really get through almost 60 class presentations over the course of the semester and have it be a useful experience for anybody. But I decided I'd see what the class thought, because it's also one of those things that, like, every year, whatever you do, at least some of the people in the class write in the course evaluation that they wish you had done the other thing. So if you have class presentations, people say things like, I'm paying my tuition to hear faculty talk. I don't want to hear students talk. And if I lecture all the time and just have discussions with you guys, people say, there's all these wonderful people in my class and I never had a chance to learn from their knowledge and wisdom. And I think both of these things are true. So I don't personally have an opinion. Nor do I have any strong opinion, particularly about reviews about papers versus exams. The online discussion and the Blackboard discussion room so far seems to have split something like 1/3 of the people that have expressed an opinion like papers, about 1/3 like exams, and the other 1/3 either want one paper and one exam, or they don't have an opinion at all. So, what do you think? What do you guys want to do? Was that a case scenario paper or a case scenario exams? Yeah, it'll be fine. Yes. Sure. Anybody else? Yeah.
I've got a problem with forgetting everything I've learned after taking an exam. Like I'll cram
Shame on you.
be on performing well on the exam, and then I'll completely forget it. But when I write, I tend to remember things more. So for me, it would be better for me to write a paper. And I know that apparently a third of the class hates that idea, and a third of this class probably doesn't care that I just said that. For me, it would work out better for a paper. I think that's it's going to be more work, but I think I can.
So listen really carefully to the memory lectures, and you might be able to change that. But, yeah.
I like writing papers so much. I really learn more from the process of doing it rather than preparing for the exam, basically. Preparing for the exam, and I tend to forget everything.
Cool, it's interesting.
So how about like a take home? If you give a scenario, you have to spend on writing the topic if you go to the literature. So a take home takes a lot more time than like a 3-hour exam. Spending 30 hours.
Okay, let me back a sec. If we do exams, they would be take-home exams. They would be short to moderately long essay exams.
So you're looking at maybe a page, 50 pages.
I was thinking more like 2 to 5, but they would be, they'd be typed. That's more my issue than yours, I'm sure. And they would be either case or policy program focused. The one difference in probably what you would be using and doing as you write is, I think, if we go the essay exam route, the focus would be more on seeing that you've read and understood the readings that are assigned for the course, and that you can use that knowledge and apply it. If we go the paper route, the focus is more on you doing some of that, but also reading additional readings and integrating them around, as several of you have already said, probably a more narrow topic of your own choosing. And of course the other difference is that you'd be examined on a broader range of material, and I'd be choosing the questions rather than you. So. But I'm a nice guy, so it'll work out.
You have to review a lot of aspects to pull it all together, whereas if I, kind of went and did a paper, yeah.
Yeah. We used to actually do exams all the time because there was a time in the past when the master's students also had cups. Jeff, did you agree with that?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I actually use more paper.
I think, on the other side, I think for like PhD students, I think it would be good for us to get additional research, even if it's at this level in a subject area that we may not specialize in. Even if it is what we specialize in, maybe really crunch something if we're going to be spending time on like this. Think about pushing publication.
Sure.
Do you make it a choice whether you take an exam or do a paper?
It has crossed my mind. I've been I kind of think about that one. Yeah. It has occurred to me that there would be different ways of dividing things up. At one point, I thought it was kind of running like master's students for favoring exams and PhD students for favoring papers, but that sort of fell apart on me. So, and certainly we typically have had somewhat different requirements for doctoral students in the class than master's students. So that would certainly be